Hi, this is Cal Musselman with Team Musselman's Real Estate Educational Videocast. Welcome. This week's topic is time for acceptance. You can write a real estate purchase contract on any piece of paper, on a napkin, as long as the buyer and seller have a meeting of the minds. They both sign the contract and deliver each other the copies. It's a legally enforceable contract. But there's a lot of pitfalls in that. That's why we as real estate professionals use state-approved forms, and one of those forms is the real estate purchase contract. And at the end of that form, there is a line that says time for acceptance. Time for acceptance is usually established a day later, or 2 days later, or 3 days after the offer is written, usually at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. There's variances to that. But the key issue is, what is that? Is that a response time, or is it a time for acceptance? It is exactly what it says. It is a time for acceptance. It is not a response time. The other day, I had an offer written on one of our properties, one of Team Musselman's properties, and I could not get together with my seller fast enough to draft a counteroffer. Fast enough. What I mean by fast enough is before the time of acceptance. He was not going to accept, but I knew there might be an issue. So I called the agent and told them, on the other side, we're going to counteroffer, but I'm not going to be able to do it by this time, which was the time he had in there for acceptance. And he was vehemently concerned that we weren't going to do it by his time for acceptance. And I tried to tell him that's a time for acceptance, not a response time. We can counteroffer anytime, a day later, 2 days later. Nevertheless, we ended up drafting the counteroffer, and I assured him everything would be okay. And we put in there, acceptance time to be extended such. Didn't need to do it, only needed to do it to appease the agent. There was no legal requirement to do so. It's an important issue for both real estate professionals to understand and buyers and sellers to understand that in that process of writing an offer and putting in a time of acceptance, that we know what that means for time of acceptance. There's easy ways to solve this. Number one, know what it means. It means exactly what it says, time for acceptance. Number two, and this is an important distinction. Number two, when you counteroffer an offer, you are creating a new offer in its entirety. Both the addendum that you're using to create the counteroffer, but all the previous documents, the REPC and any other attached documents, are part of that new offer. But it's a new offer that goes back to the originator as an offer. If the originator, the offeree or offeror, looks at it as such, it makes it easier for them to wrap their minds around the position of the other party, instead of just looking at as if their offer was rejected. They're getting now a new offer. And last, if we communicate, in other words, if we have that time of acceptance approaching, and our inclination is to counteroffer, not accept. Because remember, if we're going to accept, then we have to do it by the acceptance time. If it's 5 o'clock that day and we're going to accept, we have to do it by 5 o'clock that day. And if we don't, it creates issues and problems. But if we're going to counteroffer and we're not going to be able to do it by that acceptance time, then it's important that we call and communicate to the other party and let them know we're going to counteroffer and this is what we're going to do. It solves a tremendous amount of problems. It puts people at ease to know the other party is dealing with the offer that they made. And by doing so, by going through that communication process, even though it's not legally required, it's just a professional courtesy and it's a good idea in getting the contract to its finality. This is Cal Musselman. I hope you learned something. Take care.